5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. 70 over crest. Into 5 right long, tightens 3. Into 2 left long, tightens 1. And 5 right, short. Into 4 left, short. And 5 left over crest. Into 3 right, long. 40. 5 left. 60. Caution, brake, junction, square left. 60 over crest. 4 right, short, over crest, 40. 3 left, long, tightens late. Into 2 right, don't cut, 50. Crest, into 3 left, long, opens and tightens. Into 2 right, don't cut, and 3 left, short, 40. 2 right, don't cut, 70. Flat left, over crest, and 5 left, 40. Brake. 2 right, don't cut. 3 right, tightens late, don't cut. Junction, go right, 100. 3 left long, small cut, 40. 5 left. And 6 right, don't cut, into 3 left long, don't cut, tightens late. And 6 right, long. Into 4 left, small cut, 100. 6 left, caution, brake, 5 left, into hairpin right. 40. Hairpin left. And square right, don't cut. 3 right and 3 left long. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. 70 over crest. Into 5 right long, tightens 3. Into 2 left long, tightens 1. And 5 right, short. Into 4 left, short. And 5 left, over crest. Into 3 right, long. 40. 5 left. 60. Caution, brake, junction, square left. 60 over crest. 4 right, short, over crest, 40. 3 left long, tightens late. Into 2 right, don't cut, 50. Crest, into 3 left long, opens and tightens. Into 2 right, don't cut, and 3 left, short, 40. 2 right, don't cut, 70. Flat left, over crest, and 5 left, 40. Brake. 2 right, don't cut. 3 right, tightens late, don't cut. Junction, go right, 100. 3 left long, small cut, 40. 5 left. And 6 right, don't cut, into 3 left long, don't cut, tightens late. And 6 right long, into 4 left, small cut, 100. 6 left, caution, brake, 5 left, into hairpin right. 40. Hairpin left. And square right, don't cut. right and 3 left long and 5 right, 2 left long, small cut, and 2 left tightens, caution through gate, and 3 right opens, 5 left long and 4 left very long, the over crest, keep in 40, 4 left 60, 3 right short, keep in, and 5 left long, 5 right short 50 over crest, flat right into 6 left 100, kinks into dip and kinks over crest into 4 right dip 40, 5 left and flat left long over crest, keep out 150, 5 left 50, 6 right short 50, kink left, keep right 40, caution 5 right, keep in into 6 left 100, kink left, finish, brake, keep right 4 right into 3 left, stop at marshals. And 6 right, don't cut into. Left. And square right, don't cut. 3 right and 3 left long. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go. 2 left long, opens. And 3 right, over crest, 40. 6 right. And kinks. Into 6 right, 40. 4 left, long, over crest. Brake, into 3 left tightens, 90. Kinks, over crest, narrows. Into 6 left long, 80. Three right, caution, don't cut, keep in, 170, widens. 2 right, don't cut. And 3 right. And 4 right, long, 100. 6 left, 100, over crest. 6 right, long, 40. Brake, 5 right, 50. 2 right, long, opens, don't cut. And 5 left, short. Into 2 left, long, tightens late. And 2 right, 60. Four left, tightens, 50. Caution, 4 left long, tightens, keep in, 50. Crest, 40. 4 left, over crest. And sudden, 5 right, short, 130, go straight. 50. Brake, 4 left tightens, 100. Tight hairpin right. Five right, long. And kinks, over crest, into 6 right, long, 60. 6 left. Into 5 right, go right. Into 5 right tightens, keep in. And kinks, 60. Caution, 2 left, short, don't cut. And 4 right, very long, tightens late, 40. 5 left, 40. 4 right, tightens, and 4 left long, don't cut. And 4 right, tightens, 50. 4 left. And 4 right, over crest, go straight, 40. 5 left. And 5 right, long, 130. 6 left, keep out, 70. Flat left, 70. Caution, kinks, over crest, into 2 left. And 2 right opens, go right. 5 right long, opens. 40. 5 right, short, 130. 5 right, keep in, 80. 5 right. And 6 left, into 5 right, short, 60. 2 left opens, 150. 4 left, 60. Hairpin right, 80. 5 left. And 5 right, into 4 left, short. 2, 3 right. Finish. Slowing, stop at the marshals. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go. 80. Over crest, into 4 right, long, opens, 60. 3 left, don't cut, and sudden, 4 right, 70. 5 left, and 6 right, 200. 6 left, and flat right, 80. Caution, 3 left, tightens, bad camber. 4 right, don't cut. 150. 6 right. Into 5 left, over crest. Caution, 3 left, tightens 2, late. 40, over crest, into hairpin right, and 5 left. 70. Flat left, 100. Kinks, 100. 2 right, small cut. 6 left. Into 5 right, 60. 4 right, long, tightens, 50. 3 left, 50. Hairpin left opens, uphill. 40. Flat right, over crest. 4 left, cut, and 4 right, keep in. 80. 4 left, don't cut, 250. Brake. Square right, and 2 left, opens, over crest. 90. Over bump, into 4 right, don't cut. 5 left, over crest. Caution, 4 right, tightens 3, late, don't cut. 40. 5 left, into 2 right, don't cut. 3 left, opens, 100. Flat left, 150. 6 right, long, 50. 6 left, long, over bump, don't cut, 130. 6 left, don't cut, short. Over, finish. Slowing and stop at the marshals. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, 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 go. 4 right, into 3 left tightens, don't cut, and 3 right, very long, opens, and tightens late. 50, 5 left, and 5 right, 200. Caution, hairpin left. 300. 4 left, tightens, and 6 right, 40. Brake, hairpin right. 3 left, narrows, over bridge, and 3 left, into 2 left tightens, 40. 1 right, don't cut, 150. Flat left, into 5 right, caution, heavy brake, hairpin right, narrows, 50. Flat left, into 5 right, into 3 left tightens, 40. 5 right, don't cut. Into 3 left, tightens, and 4 right, over bumps, 60. 5 left, and 6 right, 200. 5 left, long. 50, over crest, into 4 left, opens, 200. 4 left. Caution, keep right, narrows, into 2 left long, 150. 5 left, long, over bumps, into 4 right, 40. Caution, 5 right, bumpy, flat left, into 3 right, don't cut, narrows. And 3 right, tightens, into 2 right, tightens, finish. Slowing and stop at the marshals. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go. 4 right, into 3 left tightens, don't cut, and 3 right, very long, opens, and tightens late. 50, 5 left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go. 4 right, into 3 left tightens, don't cut, and 3 right, very long, opens, and tightens late. 50, 5 left. And 5 right, 200. Caution, hairpin left. 300. 4 left, tightens. And 6 right, 40. Brake, hairpin right. 3 left, narrows, over bridge. And 3 left, into 2 left, tightens, 40. 1 right, don't cut, 150. Flat left. Into 5 right, caution, heavy brake, hairpin right, narrows, 50. Flat left. Into 5 right, into 3 left tightens, 40. 5 right, don't cut. Into 3 left, tightens. And 4 right, over bumps, 60. 5 left. And 6 right, 200. 5 left, long. 50, over crest, into 4 left, opens, 200. 4 left. Caution, keep right, narrows, into 2 left, long, 150. 5 left, long, over bumps, into 4 right, 40. Caution, 5 right, bumpy. Flat left, into 3 right, don't cut, narrows. And 3 right, tightens. Into 2 right, tightens. Finish. Slowing and stop at the marshals. Over bumps, 60. 5 left. And 6 right, 200. crest, into 4 left, opens, 200. Five, four, three, two, one. Go, 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 200. 6 right, into 4 right, 60. 5 left, 100. Caution, 2 right, and 3 left, cut. Five, four, three, two, one, go, go, 200. 6 right, into 4 right, 60. 5 left, 100. Caution, 2 right and 3 left, cut. 150. 6 right, tightens. Into 4 right long, 50. 5 right, don't cut, 200. Kink right, into 6 left. Into 5 right, opens. And 5 left, short, 60. Flat right, 100. Caution, 5 right, over crest, don't cut, keep in, 70. Flat right, into 6 left, brake, 5 right, into 3 left tightens, 50. Flat right, 200. Caution, 3 left tightens. Into 3 right tightens. 3 right, 40. 3 left tightens, 50. 3 left tightens, 80. 5 right, 70. Caution, 4 right, long, tightens, 70. 4 right, long, 60. 5 right, 90. 4 left, don't cut. Caution, hairpin left, tightens. 5 right, long. Into 4 right, 90. 5 right, don't cut, 50. Flat right, 70. 5 right, very long, tightens late, 40. Caution, 6 right, into 3 left, tightens. 3 left, 40, keep right. 3 left, don't cut, and flat right. 6 left, 80. 5 left, and 5 right long, over bumps, 150. Caution, brake, chicane right, narrows. 60. 5 right, 250. 5 right long, over crest, keep in, 80. 5 right long, 250, over bumps. 5 left, don't cut, into 5 right tightens, 60, over bumps. Caution, 4 left, don't cut, into 3 right tightens, and 5 left, don't cut, 50. 3 right tightens, and 6 left, 100. Caution, hairpin left, tightens late, 50. 5 left, 200, kinks. Caution, brake, chicane right entry, and 1 left, don't cut. Two right opens, and four right narrows over bridge. Five right into hairpin left, 70. Six left into four right. 300 kinks. Caution, brake, 6 left, into open hairpin right. Kink left, 200. Six left, tightens 5, 40. 5 right long, 40. 4 left, very long, opens, and 5 left, tightens 4, late. Into 3 right, tightens, and 4 left, finish. Slowing, and stop the marshals. Five, four, three, two, one. Go, go, 200. 6 right into 4 right, 60. 5 left, 100. Caution, 2 right and 3 left, go. 150. 6 right, tightens, into 4 right, long, 50. 5 right, don't cut, 200. Kink right, into 6 left. Into 5 right, opens, and 5 left, short, 60. Flat right, 100. Caution, 5 right, over crest, don't cut, keep in, 70. Flat right, into 6 left, brake, 5 right, into 3 left tightens, 50. Flat right, 200. Caution, 3 left tightens, into 3 right tightens, 3 right, 40. 3 left tightens, 50. 3 3 left, tightens, 80. 5 right, 70. Caution, 4 right, long, tightens, 70. 4 right, long, 60. 5 right, 90. 4 left, don't cut. Caution, hairpin left, tightens. 5 right, long. Into 4 right, 90. 5 right, don't cut, 50. Flat right, 70. 5 right, very long, tightens late, 40. Caution, 6 right, into 3 left, tightens. 3 left, 40, keep right. 3 left, don't cut, and flat right. 6 left, 80. 5 left, and 5 right long, over bumps. $150. Caution, brake, chicane right, narrows. 60. 5 right, 250. 5 right long, over crest, keep in, 80. 5 right long, 250, over bumps. 5 left, don't cut, into 5 right, tightens, 60, over bumps. Caution, 4 left, don't cut, into 3 right, tightens, and 5 left, don't cut, 50. 3 right, tightens, and 6 left, 100. Caution, hairpin left, tightens late, 50. 5 left, 200, kinks. Caution, brake, chicane right entry, and 1 left, don't cut. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 200. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, 200. 6 right, into 4 right, 60. 5 left, 100. Caution, 2 right and 3 left, cut. 150. 6 right, tightens, into 4 right long, 50. 5 right, don't cut, 200. Kink right, into 6 left. Into 5 right, opens, and 5 left, short. 60. Flat right, 100. Caution, 5 right, over crest, don't cut, keep in, 70. Flat right, into 6 left. Brake, 5 right, into 3 left tightens, 50. Flat right, 200. Caution, 3 left tightens. Into 3 right tightens. 3 right, 40. left tightens, 50. 3 left tightens, 80. 5 right, 70. Caution, 4 right long, tightens, 70. 4 right long, 60. 5 right, 90. 4 left, don't cut. Caution, hairpin left, tightens. 5 right, long. Into 4 right, 90. 5 right, don't cut, 50. Flat right, 70. 5 right, very long, tightens late, 40. Caution, 6 right, into 3 left, tightens. 3 left, 40, keep right. 3 left, don't cut, and flat right. 6 left, 80. 5 left, and 5 right long, over bumps, 150. Caution, brake, chicane right, narrows. 60. 5 right, 250. 5 right long, over crest, keep in, 80. 5 right long, 250, over bumps. 5 left, don't cut, into 5 right tightens, 60, over bumps. Caution, 4 left, don't cut, into 3 right tightens, and 5 left, don't cut, 50. 3 right tightens, and 6 left, 100. Caution, hairpin left, tightens late, 50. 5 left, 200, kinks. Caution, brake, chicane right, entry, and 1 left, don't cut. 2 right, opens, and 4 right, narrows, over bridge. 5 right, into hairpin left, 70. 6 left, into 4 right. 300, kinks. Caution, brake, 6 left, into open hairpin right. Kink left, 200. Six left, tightens 5, 40. 5 right long, 40. 4 left, very long, opens, and 5 left, tightens 4, late. Into 3 right, tightens, and 4 left, finish. Slowing, and stop at the marshals.
So yeah, I know the whole world is falling in love with Fred. He's like easily one of the most talented musicians on the planet.
This is Phase 3, Celebrity Power. In 2019, Fred again had involvement in creating 30% of the UK's #1 singles. Yes, he had privilege and a mentor, but he worked hard. Before the fame, he used the opportunity to work for other artists without being famous, often being credited on songs simply as Fred. He's worked with Stormzy, Ed Sheeran, Headie One, Charlie XCX, Skrillex, BTS, George Ezra, Rita Ora, Little Mix, and that's just to name a few. Talent doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It takes hard work to unlock it. He can write, and what I think makes him totally unique as an electronic music producer is that he makes people feel something.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's performance of Fred Again at Alexandra Palace. Photography and recording is strictly prohibited. Performance will begin shortly. Enjoy the show.
Cue Phase 4, Creation.
We've had to lose our space. We've lost the hugs with friends and people we loved. We've lost dancing.
Sound familiar? Well, there's something special about those waveforms because Fred is known for incubating this beautiful community. Songs are made up of voice notes from random people that have impacted him or friends, and he takes a moment in time and turns it into this huge emotion. Like, pull me out of this, and it only gets better with time. It makes his music really relatable, hence for his love and identity as an artist. His lyrics are often subtle nods to the bigger picture, and so rarely does electronic music function in this way. The one thing that's fascinating about him is he's managed to break through the popular sphere. You can walk into a room and basically everyone will know who he is. And historically, electronic artists have kind of struggled to achieve this specific kind of fame. The greats of electronic music like Orbital or Chemical Brothers, yes, they're well known, but they're still dubbed cool and somewhat unattainable. And if you're not in that cool space, then you can't be here. In a weird way, you can kind of put Fred Again and Taylor Swift in the same box, and electronic music hasn't really functioned in this way before. Fred Again opens the door for people. He supports emerging artists by booking DJs who have never played in massive stadiums before and then having them in a 30,000 person crowd. He'll collaborate with artists who are less popular or unknown or are just starting out. He's humble. He's a normal guy. You can literally see him on the tube, and his music reflects this as well. He'll sample things on his iPhone. He's not glitzy, he's not glamorous, he wears the same white t-shirt every day. And I think that kind of represents the kind of person he's become with his nepotism. He's that normal guy that you met at a party and then you think, oh, it's Fred. And people think this despite the nepotism. And that brings me to the final stage, the Fred Again paradox. It's because he represents both things at once. Undeniable privilege and undeniable talent. People resent the head start, but they also can't ignore the music. Yes, nepotism provided him with the platform. It gave him access, it gave him a network, it gave him people to rely on, and it put his foot in the door in an easier way than it would from someone who wasn't born into his privilege. However, no one chooses where they're born, so maybe the real magic trick isn't his t-shirt, it's the system combined with the talent. So maybe it's the system that should be hated, and the talent should be left alone to be what it is, which is emotional. It's reaching people and communities, it's helping out emerging DJs and helping them thrive. His audience is reactive. If Fred moves, they move. It's like magnets. So nepotism or skill, maybe we're hating the wrong thing, and that's why nepos always win.
He had a table in his living room, and on that narrow, long table, he had placed 8 heads of his victims, 8 different heads. These were his favorite victims. And in front of the table, he had placed a large black chair. His goal was to be able to sit down in that black chair, surrounded by his friends, who could never leave him. And finally he said, I will feel powerful. Finally, I'll feel powerful.
Who was the first serial killer that you interviewed, and do you remember that interview?
Okay, the first one. Oh my. So I believe one of my very earliest interviews was with Randy Woodfield, the I-5 killer. He had a very interesting MO, how he would do his killings. He was a pretty handsome guy. He tried out for the Green Bay Packers before he did his killings. He was a football player, got cut from the team. He became a serial rapist for a while. He didn't get caught. And then he started going around, and he would go to businesses at night and the evening when they're closing shop. For example, one place he went to a store, a small store, a flower shop, and the owner was in the back closing up the shop. And so he went back and he tied her up with duct tape. And he'd done this to several victims before this. And so he tied them up with duct tape and put them on the floor on their knees and make them, he'd take a gun out and put the gun on their forehead and pull the trigger back. 4 women, in 3 cases, they did not kill. And I heard about this through one of my friends. I said, I need to know why he didn't kill them. And I went to the first victim who owned the flower shop. And I said, so he has you in the back room. You're tied up with duct tape. You're on the floor. He's got a gun on your forehead with the trigger pulled back. You know who he is now because you know he's already killed several females before you. So you know you're about to die. I said, were you afraid? And she goes, I was terrified. I said, so why didn't he kill you? And I knew why. And I wanted her to tell me why. She said, well, I did exactly what he said. I said, yes. And did you cry and beg for mercy? No, I just did what he said. And that's why you're alive today. Because you did exactly what he said. You didn't show fear. All 4 women were the same way. In one case, there were 2 females, and they made jokes with him. They didn't show fear. So why bother killing them? He had to have that fear factor. That was a fascinating experience. So then I went interviewed Randy Woodfield, the I-5 killer. And it was it was a learning experience. I sat in the interview room for 45 minutes waiting for him. And I finally asked the guard, so where is he? Well, he's sitting on his bunk. He knows you're here. I said, oh, okay, this is a game. This is the game, and I'm learning from the game. So he wants to be in control, because he doesn't know me, but I know him. So he wants to show me that he's in charge. Fine, no problem. So I learned from that. So he finally comes out, and we have this 3-hour interview. He never once would admit that he did the murders. Of course, I knew he did the murders. But I listened to him, and I let him kind of rant on. And I learned about his narcissism. He exuded narcissism. It was amazing. A true narcissist. He would respond to newspaper ads. He'd find women looking for men to talk to. And so he'd send them pictures of himself just in a G-string. And he would sign it Adonis. Apollo or Adonis, and he sent it out to them. And asked them to send pictures of themselves back, naked. And some women did. So he had this following, these groupies that would follow him. He was a handsome guy. That was him. That was Rennie Woodfield. He loved to manipulate. He still does. He's still there in prison in Oregon State Penitentiary. I learned a lot from him, not only because he wouldn't confess to me that he'd done the murders, but the way he talked to me, the way he talked about other people, gave me a lot of insight into what a narcissistic personality is all about.
Why is it important to interview serial killers?
Why is it important to interview serial killers? It is a rare crime, relatively rare crime. The FBI said we probably have 35 of them approximately in the United States. Yeah, probably. So it's a very small number, but because we're fascinated by it, because it's so unusual, so there's been a lot of public interest in it. For me as an academic researcher, an academic practitioner, I need to understand the dark side so we can do prevention, intervention, so we can help law enforcement track them down and make arrests and stop them before they kill people. We have to get past the sensationalism of this kind of work, because so you're a profiler. Yeah, I profile. I do profile, but I don't call myself a profiler. That's very Hollywood. I'm a person who wants to understand these people, to understand the psychology of offending, the psychology of violence, and how do people get there? And so the longer I've been in the field, the more we learn about where it comes from. Most of it, not all of it, probably most of it is from childhood trauma, and where it takes people. We've learned that men and women respond differently to trauma and how they handle that trauma. And some turn to violence, and women generally tend not to turn to violence when they do other things. That's why we only have maybe 16% of serial killers are female, because women generally find other ways to deal with their trauma than men. And we're socialized differently. So all these things that we learn about, and so then we can debunk the myths about serial murder. When you really start to think about the victims and what happens to them, you realize this is horrific what these people have done to these victims. And so it's not about glorifying these people at all.
Do the serial killers that you meet and interview, do they often have remorse for their crimes or for their victims? Do they show that to you in those interview settings?
So a really good question about serial killers is, do they have remorse for their crimes? Necrophiles, like Jeffrey Dahmer, have remorse, not because they've killed people. They don't connect with the victims. They have remorse for their lives as being wasted. Dahmer said, my life was pathetic. He never talked about the victims because they cannot connect to the victims. They don't have that empathy. They lack empathy. That's one of the hallmarks of these people. They lack the empathy. They lack the ability to have attachments to people. However, with necrophiles, none of them are psychopaths. They're sociopaths. So they're because they have connections, they have attachments to bodies, right? Dead people, but they don't have emotional attachment to them. Whereas, like, you have a domestic violence situation, someone killed their spouse, they may have loved that spouse, they may have hated them, but when you talk about people who are true psychopaths who kill, then they don't have any connection at all. Sociopaths also are serial killers, but they have connection, they have attachment to people. So the question is, do they have any feelings about the victims? They never talk about the victims. They don't want to remember them. That's not something in their bailiwick. They don't have any interest or capability to really connect with those victims.
You mentioned Jeffrey Dahmer. Let's talk a little bit about how you came to be involved in that case.
I talk to a lot of people, especially people I find interesting, that look interesting. I get feelings about people, and so I'm walking through a Macy's store one day, and I see a man. He looked very interesting, and I had a feeling about him. I should speak to him, and so I stopped. I paid attention to that feeling, and I went over to him. I started talking to him, and he was very polite. And I asked him where he was from. He said he was from Chicago. I said, I'm going there next week on a case. I said, what brings you to California? He said, my mom tried to kill herself, so I came out here to take care of her. Immediately, I knew who he was. I don't know how I knew. I just knew who he was. I said, oh my gosh, you're Jeffrey Dahmer's brother, aren't you? And he looked at me and goes, I am. How did you know that? I said, I didn't know. I just now know that you are. And he said, I am. We became friends. for that week. I went to Chicago with him, spent my time with him, interviewed him. He was quite worried that he might become like his brother. He would go visit Jeffrey in prison every week. He said, I love my brother. I said, I understand you love your brother. He said, and I'm worried. I said, don't worry. You're not going to, it's a very different mindset that what you do. I go to church every Sunday. I'm a good person. I said, you don't have to worry. So because of that interview, I had a chance to interview some other. And that interview was absolutely fascinating. When I first went into her home, she said, Dr. I've been wanting to meet you for some time. I want you to know, first of all, that my son never tried to hurt anybody. He killed them. He never tried to hurt them. I said, I understand. Absolutely, yes, that's exactly what he did. Because he wasn't interested in their suffering of the victims. He needed them to die so he could be with them. Because that was his attachment to dead people. After he killed his first victim, he didn't kill anybody for maybe 7 years. I said, I know given your son, Jeffrey, he had to have been doing something bad during that 7-year period. At his trial, it never came out. He never discussed it. He was never asked. And she said, well, yes, he was doing bad things. And he told me in confidence what he was doing. And I've never told anybody, but I'll tell you now in confidence. Well, now she's deceased. She is now deceased, and so is Jeffrey, and so is his father. They're all deceased. So I can tell you what he said. He would get newspapers and look up young men who had passed, car accidents, illnesses. Then he would go to the viewings of the bodies. Then he'd go to the funerals. Then he would go to the cemeteries where they're buried. And at night he would try to dig them up because he wanted to lie with them. He wanted to be with them. I said, that makes perfect sense to where he was coming from because he had fantasies. And so this took me down another pathway of understanding these men's fantasies. Because when people do these interviews, law enforcement, psychologists, when you interview people, you don't really get into their fantasies. Law enforcement is not trained to do that. And so for me, it was important to understand their fantasies because fantasies will help us understand where they've been, where they are now, and where they're going to go. Dahmer then, it was to understand him. And so he was going to do some writing for me, Jeffrey was. But then he called his mother one day and he said, Mom, I don't want to be in prison anymore. And I know I'm too dangerous to be on the outside. And I think it was 3 weeks later, he was dead. And he didn't fight back. No. He was attacked by a man with a lead pipe in the prison. And I'm sure he didn't fight back because he wanted to die. During that time, when I was researching him, I came to understand him a little more, why he picked those victims and what he was doing. The public sees that he cannibalized and consumed 17 people. And that's what they think about. And yes, he did that. But there was a process of getting to that point where he did those killings. I think in the beginning, had the men he lured, young men he lured from gay bars, had they stayed with him and not left him, they would still be alive. But after 2 or 3 days, I got to get back to work, I go back to my family, and that's when he said, no, you're not leaving. He'd get them drunk, he would strangle them. And it came to a point where he kind of got past that, where he knew then it didn't matter if they stayed or not, he's going to kill them. He had a table in his living room, a small, it's about maybe 8 feet long. And on that narrow, long table, I believe, he had placed eight heads of his victims, 8 different heads. These were his favorite victims. On one end was a fully articulated skeleton, one they cleaned off. The other skeleton he was going to put out there was in the bathtub, still being cleaned off. And in front of the table, he had placed a large black chair. His goal was to be able to sit down in that black chair, surrounded by his friends, who could never leave him. And remember, when he came home from school one day, his mother was gone. He'd been abandoned. And he was with his father. He wasn't close to his father. So now he's surrounded by his friends. He says, they can never leave me. And now they're physically part of me. I consumed them. He says, and finally he said, I will feel powerful. Finally, I'll feel powerful. And to feel powerful, he had to control people. And that's a that's a very dark place to be in one's life. The need to control, but that's all about psychopathy, right? So, but Dahmer was not a true psychopath. He was a sociopath. And he was actually just a mid-range sociopath. Like he was like a 20, low range. He was a 23 on the scale. Why? Because he had attachment to dead people. He still loved his mom. He still loved his mother.
Do you feel that people like Jeffrey Dahmer are born that way? Are they born with this kind of urge to commit terrible crimes, or does it come through that upbringing?
Well, nature and nurture. We should dispel some mythology here about nature and nurture. No one is born to be a criminal. However, we must not discount biology and genetics. You can inherit certain things from your family line, like temperament, mental illness. These things are passed on. Not everybody gets it in your family. Some people do, some people don't. There might be fetal alcohol syndrome. There may be some hormone imbalance. There could be domestic violence where the baby in the womb is being traumatized. These things, they can predispose a person, but they don't necessarily make someone kill anybody. So I think 30% is about biology and genetics. The other 70% is about nurturing, or the lack of nurturing. And so nature loads the gun, and if there's not the proper nurturing or the lack of nurturing, then nurturing will pull the trigger. For example, I had a couple of grandparents come to me after a lecture I gave, and they said, so we have a grandson, he's been setting fires, he's been harming animals, and we're very worried about him. And I said, well, how old is he? Well, he's 15 years old. I said, well, where is he? Well, he's in juvenile hall. I said, is he there for setting fires? No, he's there because he's raped his sister twice. Wait, let's back up a second here. Okay, you're concerned about him setting fires? Well, Doctor, we know you're in a hurry. We have a question, and I'm going to quote you their question. Do you think our grandson is dangerous? I said, not only is he dangerous, it's probably too late to help him. And the truth is, you're part of the problem. You don't get it. You're part of the problem. You're here asking me this question if he's dangerous. Of course he's dangerous. And where are his parents? They're not here. If I had a chance to go into that home, I didn't, but if I had a chance to go into that home and research that home, you're going to find a lot of weird things going on in that family. So it's often people don't see it. They don't pay attention to it because they don't want to see it. They don't see it coming.
You've said that in your field of work, it's often a story of failed relationships.
Yes.
Broken families, which I thought was really interesting. It seems kind of relevant given what you just spoke about.
A great man once said that no success can compensate for failure in the home. You can always have a career, but you can't always raise children. And children are our most important resource that we have in society. And if we damage children when they're young, when they're supposed to be bonding, attaching to their parents or to their guardians, if we damage those connections, then all amazing, terrible things can happen as they grow up if there's not interventions. So most of what I've learned is from the trauma that children experience in childhood. If I could be in charge of the world for a day, I would reduce domestic violence. Because we see these horrific things coming out of families that have a lot of trauma in them. We can't stop everything, but I think we have an obligation to reduce domestic violence. I think that's my mindset. I can't do a lot of good, but I can do some good. And if we can all do some good, we can help change the world for a better place. I think one of the most insightful cases I ever worked on was the Larry Hall case, who killed 36 college students, and he's in prison now. He came up with a list of 36 names of people he said he killed, all female, and that he agreed to help them find the bodies. With the agreement was that he gets to go home to visit his parents. Visit his mother, because there's no one dad around. So he had helped them for a while, but they hadn't found any bodies, and he stopped helping them. So they asked me if I would be willing to go to the federal prison and interview him, help them understand him. I said, sure. So off I went to federal prison, and I sat down beside him, and the police are sitting against the wall, my right leg's touching his left leg. That's how close we were physically. And he has this long beard, and I look at him, and I'm sizing him up, going, this is going to be a really interesting interview. Because I can tell he's on medication. And I said, so let's cut to the chase, Larry. You killed all these women? And he said, yes. I said, why are you helping the police? Well, he said, they said I could go home and visit my mom. I said, Larry, you're never going home, ever. They lied. Police can lie. You're not going home. I poked the bear intentionally. I wanted to see what he was made out of. Oh, no, I get to go. So we talked about that. Eventually, I said, okay, Larry, let's pretend you get to go home. How did you kill these people? He said, well, I was a Civil War reenactor. And he gets his mutton chops. And he says, I was a Confederate uniform, and I would travel around the country going to these different places where they had these reenactments of the Civil War. And I would participate in every city that he went to. Those women were there, and they disappeared in every case. So we kind of knew, yeah, he did them. He'd go to campus, see a woman walk up by herself, he'd grab her, put a knife to her throat, get her in the van, tie her up, and take her out in the woods. Eventually, he started using ether to knock her unconscious, so he wouldn't have to struggle so much with her. So then he'd take her out in the woods. He said, I always took him to the woods because my dad was a grave digger, taught me how to dig graves, and I'd take him out there. So I'd get him on the ground, face down, and I'd strangle him. I said, or up against a tree, I'd strangle from behind. I said, Larry, did you ever watch them die? Did you ever look down and see their faces? He says, no, why would I do that? What does that tell you? He wasn't sadistic. He had no interest in them dying. He wasn't trying to hurt them, he was killing them. And that was important to him. I said, Larry, my next question is important. Have you ever had a girlfriend? No, never had a girlfriend. Have you ever had sex with a girl, a woman? No, never. Anybody? No. I said, Larry, have you ever had sex with a dead woman? He smiled at me, goes, well, maybe. Of course he did. That's why he was killing them. I created this theory, developed a theory called relational paraphilic attachment. So most people attach themselves to other human beings in a normal way. We have attractions, we meet, we marry, we fall in love, we have relationships, we have short-time relationships, and so on. There are people in all societies who don't have the skill set to do that. They're insecure, they don't know how to do it, and so, but we're all sexual beings, and we're all going to find some way to attach ourselves, some way sexually. And so some people will do it with dead bodies. They don't know how to be intimate on a normal level, so being sexually involved with a corpse is their level of sexuality. And we find that mainly men do that. I'd probably say 99% of necrophiles are men. We've had a couple of women, but it's rare.
We worked with the FBI on the Unabomber case. How did it all come about?
The Unabomber, he made bombs. Sometimes he delivered them in the United States, sometimes he mailed them. He put a bomb on United Airlines. Some people believe it was meant to go off, some people didn't know, it just meant to scare everybody. It didn't go off, but he wanted to show people that he was in control, they could do this, and so they started calling him the Unabomber. This went on for 15 years before I got involved, and it was 18 years before he was finally caught. So it was around a long time. I was in Chicago, I got a phone call, I was at my hotel, got a phone call and asked about the case. I was not involved with the case at all. So I really couldn't help them because I stay in my own lane. I don't try to make things up. And so I said, I can't help you. Afterward, after I hung up the phone, I had this feeling I should write them a letter because I'd lived in a lot of the same place as Unabomber. And I kind of had been following the case a little bit in my head, but I really wasn't involved. So I created a profile. Anybody can create a profile. He's a white guy and so on. But I operationalized the profile. What's he thinking? Where might he be? Where might he be? What's he doing? And I thought it through critically, and then I created this 4-page profile, and I sent it to the FBI, to the task force. I said, if this helps you, that's great. If it doesn't, toss it in the garbage. A week later, I get a phone call from the task force. They said, Dr. we get hundreds of letters every week about the Unabomber. You seem to know more about the case than even our agents. How is that? I said, I'm Unabomber. Click. So of course they knew I wasn't Unabomber because they did a background check on me. And I remember when the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, had sent his manifesto to the Washington Post, who immediately turned it over to the FBI, who immediately turned it over to me. Within 24 hours, I had it. I said, this is a man of very low self-esteem. He lives by himself, never been married, very insecure, very brilliant. So we get this call that they had the manifesto, And it was a meeting in San Francisco, and I went to the meeting, left my vacation with my family, flew over to San Francisco, and I walk in this room with all these agents, and the Unabomber says that he will not bomb anybody else if we publish his manifesto. What do you think? And this agent says, well, we should publish it because it will, because he won't bomb anybody else. I said, no, but I said, wait. I agree that we should publish it, but not just because he won't bomb anybody else. He will bomb somebody else. I'll guarantee you that. We have to publish it because he'll buy us some time, but he will bomb somebody else. Because if he doesn't bomb anybody else, he ceases to exist, right? His bombs are his voice. If you recall, when the Oklahoma federal building was blown up, it had been like 6 years since we'd heard from the Unabomber. When that bomb went off in Oklahoma, I turned to my colleague and said, you wait, we're going to get hit by the Unabomber right away. A week later, he said another bomb went off by the Unabomber. He so wanted to be heard. And when his brother turned him in and they located him in Montana, they put a sound gun about a quarter mile from his house. His little house out there was 12 feet by 10 feet long, big, and no running water, no electricity. And they're listening to him make another bomb. And then they went to him just before it was ready to go, and they knocked on his door, and he was happy. He was happy to be heard finally. And so he could be the Unabomber. Because who was he blowing up? He was jealous. He was smart. He knew he was smarter than anybody else out there that he was killing. I don't think his original intent was to kill people, but it was to get people's attention and to harm people, blow up their careers, blow up their fingers, blow up their eyes. It was his way of saying, pay attention to me, listen to me.
We've spoken about Jeffrey Dahmer, we've spoken about the Unabomber. Compared to the rest of the world, why does America have so many serial killers, or at least appear to have so many serial killers?
We have to consider culture when we think about why the U.S. has apparently so many serial killers compared to other countries. And I've done some international comparisons, and there are serial killers in every country I've looked at. I've looked at maybe 35 countries. In Western, we see them. It's often not as reported in other countries. Homicides are not reported nearly as much. We're much more accurate in our reporting. We have Hollywood. And Hollywood would glamorize violence. A lot of societies don't do that. And so that's not part of what they do. And so that helps us understand it. And of course we have domestic violence, and we have a lot of that, and that's we put that in the open. We have all these movies and documentaries and stories, and so it brings people's attention to that. And so some guy says, oh, I can do that. I can do better than that. I can kill more people. That's why we have so many mass murders and attempted mass murders in the United States.
And I suppose in your work and your study of the darkest parts of humanity, how do you stay hopeful about the world, and do you feel hopeful about people in general?
Yes, I'm sort of an eternal optimist. I believe that you give me a big pile of manure, I'm going to find a pony somewhere. But I do believe that there's a lot of bad things in our world, wherever you go in societies, different societies. But there's a lot of good. I would say that most people are good people. There are good people who make poor mistakes sometimes. They make poor decisions, but we're still decent people overall. Then there's people who are evil. And I think it's important that we recognize what evil is versus what is just making stupid mistakes. I think if we would focus more on the victims, we'd probably make less movies. We'd probably see the horror of what they've gone through, the families, the horror of what these families have gone through. Yeah, terrible things.
One of the prisoners I would encounter very quickly when I was at Wormwood Scrubs was a serial murderer by the name of Dennis Nielsen. So I learned a great deal about serial murder from a serial killer, and the thing I learned most of all was that you could never trust anything a serial killer tells you.
My name is Johnny Thompson. I'm a writer, I'm a columnist at Big Think, and I run the Mini Philosophy social network where I explain philosophical ideas to millions of people. I'm the author of the upcoming book, The Art of Enough, where I explain Epicureanism and teach everybody how it can apply to our lives.
Chapter 1. Stupidity versus evil.
So Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a 20th century philosopher and theologian, and he's known for his writings, but also he's known for his resistance to the Nazi system. He was born in the early 20th century to a prominent, quite elite family. His father was head of psychiatry at Berlin University, one of the most prestigious chairs in the country. When the Nazis came to power and began the German Christian movement, where they tried to co-opt the Protestant churches, he ran a counter-movement known as the Confessional Church. When the war broke out, Bonhoeffer was part of the anti-Nazi intelligence, where he would feed information to the Allies and to the resistance movements all over Europe and in Germany. Eventually, the Nazis found out about this, and he was imprisoned in 1943, where he wrote a whole range of letters and diaries, from which we get his note on stupidity, which I'm going to talk about today. He was associated with the plot to kill Hitler in 1944, and he was executed at Flossenburg concentration camp in 1945, a few weeks before it was liberated by the Allies. So in Bonhoeffer's letters, he talks about stupidity, and he makes this slightly bold claim that stupidity is a greater threat to civilization than even evil. But to understand that, we need to really understand what he meant by stupidity, because it's different to how a lot of us use the word stupid in our everyday lexicon. So what is stupidity? Well, it is not the same as foolishness. Foolishness is when you do something silly, reckless, imprudent. For example, if you put diesel into a petrol car, or I, for example, put washing up liquid in the washing machine and it caused a disaster. Or I remember at my son's last birthday party, he was gifted a plastic golf set. And so I was desperate to impress all of the other mums and dads. And so I got the golf club out and I whacked the ball as hard as I could, and it went flying over our gate into the road outside, hitting a passing car. That is an example of foolishness, but it is not stupidity in the Bonhoeffer sense. Nor is it the same as a lack of cognitive ability. So sometimes in life you will run up against tasks which are simply beyond what you are capable of. In my own case, for example, I find flat pack incredibly difficult. So if it comes to assembling any furniture or even fiddly things like doing Lego, I'll often pass it on to somebody else. Even my 5-year-old son is better at making Lego than I am. But nor is stupidity the same as ignorance, because if you don't know something, that is either a lack of education or a lack of exposure to that fact. For example, if you don't know the capital of Indonesia, that is an example of ignorance. And then you go away and you find out that the capital is it Jakarta? I think it might be the capital, it might be Jakarta. And that resolves your ignorance. That is not stupidity. So Bonhoeffer is careful to say that those three things are not stupidity. But what is stupidity? Now again, Bonhoeffer says that stupidity can be defined by three different elements. The first is when we outsource our critical thinking to some kind of third party. It might be a teacher, it might be a parent, it might be a social media influencer, or it might be technology. And of course today a lot of people do outsource their thinking to technology. In 2014, a philosopher called Robert Howell wrote a paper where he introduced a thought experiment known as Google Morals. And in the paper, he explains that we often use apps to do certain things for us. The most common is Google Maps. So even coming here today, for example, I use Google Maps to tell me where to go. I followed the blue line, it told me to go left, it told me to go right, and hey presto, here I am. And most people are okay with using Google Maps, even if we use it for slightly imbecilic things. So for example, if I want to go to Big Ben, and it's obviously there in front of me, people will still use Google Maps to tell them where to go to Big Ben in London. But we're okay with that, because navigation seems to be a thing that we're quite willing to outsource to technology. But Howell introduced an extra idea. He said, imagine that the future contains an app called Google Morals. Now, Google Morals is an app where you would type in a question and it tells you what you should do in any situation. So let's suppose I go to a burger bar or a burger restaurant and I say, is it right for me to eat the meat burger or the halloumi burger? And the app does its whirring and it tells me, okay, you should do this. Now, the point isn't whether the Google Morals does the reasoning properly or not. The point that Robert Howell is saying is that we shouldn't be outsourcing our moral reasoning to an app. Now, this was written in 2014, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to point out the fact that a lot of people use ChatGPT and Claude and AI today to answer these kind of questions for them. Is it right to do X? Is it right to do Y? Should I cheat on my partner? Should I stay with my partner? Should I do this job or should I do that job? We are using AI to do the critical thinking for us, and that's an example of what Bonhoeffer would call stupidity. Now, the second element of stupidity is when we are willfully ignorant. I mentioned earlier how ignorance is itself not a form of stupidity, but if you are continuously ignorant and you don't take any steps to resolve your ignorance, well, that is an example of stupidity. There is an example in the ancient Greek world where the Oracle of Delphi was once reputed to say that the wisest man in the ancient world was Socrates. Socrates famously said that the only thing I know is that I know nothing at all, which is an example of ignorance. But the reason why he wasn't stupid was that because he spent his life devoted to trying to resolve that. In his works, The Nicomachean Ethics and the Politics, Aristotle says that one of the worst things that can befall any society is what the ancient Greeks called amathia. Now, amathia is willful ignorance. It's when somebody celebrates the fact they don't know something and they take no steps to resolve it. And in the ancient world, we can trace a line from Socrates to Plato to the Stoics, which associates knowledge with immorality and being wrong. The idea was that the more you know, the better you become. And so amathia is the great curse, it's a great contagion, because there is this rise in people who no longer want to know things. They celebrate the fact they don't know things, and there is a kind of inverse elitism where those who do know things are mocked and ridiculed. So that's the second example of stupidity according to Bonhoeffer. Now, the third element of stupidity is conformity. And this is what Bonhoeffer saw from his prison cell in 1943. He saw people who he grew up with, people who were educated in the same university systems, people who went to the same schools as him, and suddenly they became part of this Nazi operation. And so with conformity, it reminds me of something that Nietzsche says in his work Beyond Good and Evil. In his work Beyond Good and Evil, Nietzsche has an entire chapter devoted to truth. And in the work, Nietzsche argues that philosophers and academics and writers often become obsessed with this idea of truth. That truth has a value in and of itself. And he says if you look at the history of humanity, if you look at where we are today, people don't care about truth as a thing. What matters more is loyalty, and what matters more is identity. So, for example, in 2022, a philosopher called Chris Rinaldi wrote a paper about indoctrination. And he was trying to answer the question, what is it that makes somebody indoctrinated? How can we define indoctrination? And Rinaldi argues that indoctrination is not defined by believing one thing or believing another thing. It's when you close your citadel to any alternative positions. It's when you associate your belief with an identity. You are that belief. And so you see any rivals to that position as a kind of test of faith. You see any rivals as a kind of temptation. So the indoctrinated person doesn't belong to any one camp. It's not the atheist, it's not the believer, it's not the right wing, or it's not the left wing. It's how you keep those beliefs. And what Rinaldi is saying is what Bonhoeffer was saying as well, that when we conform to some kind of groupthink, we are surrendering our own ability to do critical thinking, and we are offloading it to somebody else to do for us. A writer and a philosopher called Robert Musil developed a distinction between what he called ordinary stupidity and intelligent stupidity. Now, ordinary stupidity is what a lot of people might associate with cognitive ability. Some people just can't do certain things. I can't do flat pack very well. But intelligent stupidity is when somebody who is otherwise incredibly able, somebody who is otherwise incredibly talented, articulate, erudite, uses their abilities for some foolish end. And what Musil and Bonhoeffer were writing about and what they were talking about was, of course, Nazism. Here you had a system that was populated by intelligent people, and yet they were using their abilities for an incredibly foolish end. So the reason why Bonhoeffer says that stupidity is a greater problem than evil is because with evil, you have a known problem. There is some intention to the malice. So when you have the evil person, we're thinking the Dark Lord Sauron from Lord of the Rings, dressed in black with orcs and fiery volcanoes. That's obviously evil. But likewise, in our world, we have people who are serial killers or genocidal tyrants or people who we know to be evil. And when you can point at something which is evil, what happens is that the good of the world can rally round and they can resist the evil. Bonhoeffer's got this quotation where he says that evil contains within it the germ of its own subversion. Because once you know something is evil, the good people of Minas Tirith can gather round and they can fight the Dark Lord Sauron. But there are two problems with stupidity. The first is that as a society, we are much more tolerant of it. If somebody says they